How we doing today? All right. Keeping the streak going of being on time. Want to say hi to Cyber, Down Undermaker, Havoc, Pat, Matt, Mad Dog. Something I just learned. Apparently Christmas Island out there in Australia, Mad Dog and Down Undermaker is exactly 12 hours ahead of us. So it's halfway around the world. Repo, you've got your number one spot back yet now. Hey, LTX Designs. Okay. This week we're going with Baja Blast again. Hey, Armor, how you doing? Pat, just to let you know, you made James back there laugh with your little typo. He was going on, it's like, nope, not gonna woot. Refuse to woot. Won't woot. Nope, you can't make me. Oh, Mad. Oh no, Mad Dog. You're just 12 hours in the future. You got to tell us what happens 12 hours in the future at some time. Oh no, it's Mike. Yeah. Got to have the Mountain Dew. Armor, I'm going to think that you have a Budweiser. You really need to get a sponsorship from Corona, man. So, continuing on, we'll sit here and see in a bit because I'm going to let a few more people trickle in while we're going. Sat here and had a little bit of a mini heart attack because I was going through my parts looking for future parts in the build and thought that I was missing some parts. It turns out the Voron manual shows the parts looking one way and the parts the way they're printed now are a bit different. Armor, at least it's not a blue moon. I can say I am not a fan of blue moon at all. Oh, Mike, you're saying Armor drinks White Claw. Oh. That's what we got to do as a maker community, guys. We have to write to Corona and see if we can get Corona to sponsor Armor 3D. Let's see, we got Armor. Oh no, it's Mike. Your rule for beer is if you can see through it, you don't drink it. Okay. I've found lately that I've been finding sours are the beers that I like. I'm not really a fan of that hops aftertaste, but I can do a good sour.
You try hard enough.
I don't know if you guys just heard James, but he said if you try hard enough, you can see through Guinness.
Even though it's the best.
Okay. Armor doesn't like... Oh no, it's Mike's rule. Look, RJ, going to a local distributor, seeing if they can sponsor. That might not be a bad idea. Hey, and it looks like Armor already has an idea for that one. Hey, James, you're getting a shout out. He's just looking around like, yes. So, going over what we did last week, where we finished after the abrupt we're hungry and had to go eat end. We finished our Z motor mounts. Got all, well, not the motor mounts, but the actual Z pulleys and everything. So got these in, got our closed loop GT2 belt in. We got our linear rails on the frame, deck plate on the frame. So at this point today, what we're gonna do is we're gonna finish getting the Z motors onto the frame, get the Z idlers in. That's the plan. Depending on how long that takes, if we do that fairly quickly, we're going to go on to building the AB motor mounts and the AB idlers. So right here on screen, this is where we left off. So our next part is we get to pull out motors and start putting pulleys on. So let's pull out. That's my belts, chains, and fans. I need my motor box. That feels heavy enough to be a motor box. There we go. So with this kit, we get, obviously it's an LDO kit, so we get the LDO motors, 0.9 degree steppers. They are the 42 STH 48s. Voron spec, specifically. Hey Shrimp Father, how you doing? So, I'm going to take a look at these, and we need the ones, I believe on this one, that do not have the leads. So, we look here. There are two different motors. One comes with a lead, one comes without. For our Z's, we do not want the leads because those plug in, if I'm correct. And the fact that there are 4 of these without leads would lead me to believe that I'm correct. We're going to get these pulled out. And of course, in here, the reason you don't need the leads is the cables that come with the LDO kit already have pre-terminated ends and everything. Let's see, Mad Dog. Nice on the Mercury. Also, your package is being delivered tomorrow. Package delivery is always a good day. Mad Dog. Okay, so I'm going to make a bit of room up here and take the frame temporarily off the workbench. We have a bit of room to work over here. Oh, Mad Dog, you're getting a 2.4 tomorrow? Oh. I have a feeling you're going to be done with yours before I'm done with mine. Let's see. You're running the... Wait. Down Under, you're running the LDO motors at 120 watts right now? So then again, you are at 240 power. So 240 volts, 10 amps. That would be, whoa. No, that'd be way too high average. Yeah, 0.5 amps would be 120. So, no, that's within spec. Oh, Mad Dog, you're going to take your time with the build? You going to stream it, Mad Dog? It's a great motivator to get these things done. So 60 volts, 2 amps is what Down Under is running it at. Okay. So with this, stand it up real quick. We do have the printed guide. Focus, thank you. We have the printed guide, so that way when we're putting our idlers onto the Z motors, you don't have to get out calipers or anything. You just line them up. Mad Dog, I think you could do it. Okay, so we also need our GT2 16-tooth pulleys. That's our 20-tooth. That's our 16-tooths. So we have 4 of these, 1 for each motor. Yep. Let's see here. Don't turn your phone off. Okay. Missed something there. Okay. Ah, I see. I see why you're telling him not to turn his phone off. Okay, so we need our grub screws again. Again, these are pre-Loctited, so I don't have to work with the cursed Loctite. Still haven't gotten the Loctite stick, but I don't think I'm going to need it for the rest of this build. Famous last words. So James here will probably force me to buy it. Okay. Let's pour out some of our grub screws and hope that they don't go flying absolutely everywhere, because while the quartz slab is flat, I learned last stream the table is not. Let's make sure I grab the right size driver. There we go. I'm getting better at this. First try. Oh, that is so unfair. Armor, you got chili? Then again, it's not really cold enough here to warrant chili right now. Oh no, it can get down to 16 Fahrenheit. Oh. James says 16 Fahrenheit's not cold enough for chili. What did I say? I don't want to do the math in my head. What's that in Celsius? Let's do it in the better units. You've got the web browser easily in front of you. Okay, now I'm gonna stand up here, but oh, -9 Celsius. That's it. Okay, so the motors, if they will focus, come on, there we go. They do have a flat spot, so when we are putting the idlers on, the pulleys on, we do want to make sure at least one side is lined up with that. Armor, I don't mind snow, but then again, I've never had to live in it. I've been in it. I've played in it. I've gone snow tubing in it. The one thing I've never seen is the actual act of snowing. I've never seen snow falling, and it's on my bucket list. Of course, James sat here and came up from Canada Junior, and he grew up in Maine, so he misses snow a bit. 90 Fahrenheit at 8 a.m. on its way to down under. You know, I know you guys are sitting here, you know, going from spring to summer, but that's hot. That is really hot. Okay, so let's move this over here. We're just taking our little guide here. And the way that, you know, there we go. That's the one side I need. So we line it up. You make sure you don't get on the little step up. And you want to line it up so that the little notch is right in between. And we are dead on center there. So, but I've got to do it again because while I was dead on center, that little grub screw I warned you guys about was not in the right place. We're going to tighten this down some more. Just so it won't, just enough that we can move it up and down, but it won't wiggle side to side. Hey James, what's the humidity out right now? All right, so 65% humidity where we're at right now. And what? 78, 80 degrees? 69 degrees outside? Oh, nice. This part right here is a lot harder than I thought it would be. You know, I just thought of a genius idea. Let's move the little gauge to the other side so I can actually get the screw while the gauge is on there. We're still there, so tighten down the other one. And there we go. Not quite flush with the end of the motor shaft. But we are within that tolerance. Let's just take some calipers here and double check it. Oh, chili's looking good. Armory, you know you're gonna have to post that in your Discord. We got to see this amazing chili when it's done. Okay. Let's loosen up here. Find out what approximately is our gap, because they want 10.7 millimeters. To the top of the pulley. So right where the teeth start, they want 10.7. .4, what I'm seeing, but we can go up a bit. I'm going to go quiet here a bit while I concentrate on getting these screws in. Chili's good. Oh, hey. Hey, Lone Skag. How you doing today? New face here. Always like to see new faces. Okay. Well, this is getting quite confusing because the little piece to sit here and measure your distance. Oh, no, that's right. Okay. I just read from the wrong side. Oh, it's a skill issue, James? Oh. Apparently I have a skill issue. I read backwards. Okay, we're going to make sure that the grub screws are snug but not overly tight because we don't want to strip those. And now we get to do that 3 more times. Hey Projects, how you doing today? I sat here and I got to eat some cornbread with our Turkey Day dinner. Unfortunately, well, fortunately or unfortunately, my sister can't do gluten, so we sat here and had some gluten-free cornbread, but still turned out pretty good. For those of you in the US, how was your Turkey Day? Or was it even a turkey day? Did you have ham? Did you have roast? Something else? Chicken? Oh. James says chicken is turkey, but better. Nice big family Thanksgiving projects. Ah, you had it today. Ooh. Late Thanksgiving, but don't have to worry about the rush of crowds and everything. And watch football if you're into that on actual Thanksgiving Day. Projects, I like that idea. Thanksgiving after Thanksgiving. What do you think, James? Do that next year? Oh, you did it before? Have fun eating, Armor. Catch you later. Oh, thanks, Armor. Yeah, pop in, pop out. Whatever is convenient for you. Have fun eating that chili. Hey, John Doe, how you doing today? Okay. Let me get this. Gonna line up our grub screw. Let's make sure that we're doing these the same way. So we are going clockwise of the flat spot for our secondary grub. That needs to go up some more. Projects here. Just starting, we are putting the idlers onto the tooth pulleys onto the Z motor steppers right now. Plan is, if we can, we're going to get the Z motors installed onto the frame, the Z idlers installed, and see how long that takes. If it doesn't take too long today, we'll go to the AB steppers. Happy holidays, John Doe. So I'm kind of jealous right now of our Australian viewers because I could use a nice summer right now. So it sounds like their summer's going to end up being very hot. Anybody sit here and, besides any food, go to see any new movies or anything? We actually just went yesterday and saw Zootopia 2. For those of you that are Disney fans and things of that nature, it is worth going to see if you like Zootopia 1 for once, even though it was a sequel. I will say it's a sequel that stuck to the... What's the word I'm looking for, James? There, that's the word. Stuck to the spirit of Zootopia 1, but told a new story. So it was actually very well done. John Doe, you just had 8 inches of snow out there. John, you're making James jealous. He wants 8 inches of snow out here, or in our case, compared to you down here. You didn't. Oh, you didn't. RJ, they're actually decent movies. Not your typical Disney with a bunch of music and everything in it, but still a very good show. I mean, yeah, there's Kesha in it, but the in-universe of Zootopia has a pop star that's voiced by Kesha. The remake of Running Man was just okay. I was hesitant about going to see that. We're right in there, so we have Z pulleys now on all of our Z steppers. Now, next part that we're going to be doing is we're going to be attaching the actual motor mount to our Z motors. Now, LDO calls out to be very careful on the way that you mount these to the Z drives. Now, I've been going back and forth with their documentation. On their revision C, what they do is they have the input for the Z stepper facing towards the skirt, whereas Voron has them facing away. On the revision D kit, though, if you look at the wiring guide, which I can pull up here, let me get to the part. Now you can see right down here, they actually face them away from the skirts, which is the same way that Voron does it. So with the errata that they give you about this, follow the Z stepper orientation of the guide. The guide for the revision C has it different to the Voron, but it looks like they've updated it for the revision D. So we get to put it in the same orientation that Voron does it now. We're going to take and get this. It's going to go away, same side as the upright piece. So I'm just calling this two ways. You have the base piece that's actually going to mount to the frame, and the upright that goes to your motor. The input connector for the Z stepper should be on the same size as just the security mount extra long security mount, not the base plate. And with this, we need M8 by M3 by 8s, which I don't know if I haven't seen him here yet, but Howie had mentioned last stream to organize the screws by their size and everything, like M3s with the M3s and all in order. Did that this time. So much easier to find things. Projects. Hollywood has been pretty bad about coming out with new intellectual property lately. So, yeah, James and I, before the stream started, were just watching a movie called Whiplash. So far, it's been pretty interesting. We've got a half an hour left of it. We had to stop it so we can make it in time here for the stream. But we're both very big music fans and everything, both band kids. So, premise so far, you have a kid that's gone to college. He wants to be a jazz musician, and specifically a jazz drummer. And the teacher is a very well-known, highly awarded teacher. But he's not the nicest teacher. And things happen, and without spoiling the movie, it's getting to the point where we're finding out what's happening because things happened. Here. Magic Phoenix kits come with a parts order. I do. Down Under, I've seen the Magic Phoenix. I think Seabor or Fistech also does that little, like, parts tray. One kind of like this that they come with. And yeah, that would be nice just to have everything not in bags, but actually pre-sorted into something that's just listed with what they are. So, big thing to keep an eye. We're tightening these down with some M3 by 8 socket heads. You don't want to tighten down too much because A, the screws will only go so far into the stepper motors, but B, you're tightening into, like, through plastic. You tighten down too much, you will crack your plastic piece. And of course, I'm being extra careful because I don't have another printer to reprint these parts. Yeah, and you know, that movie, 2014 movie, so they are still coming out with some intellectual property, but it is few and far between nowadays. A lot of it's just rehashing and retelling or sequels, or, you know, another Fast and the Furious or another Marvel movie, or whatever Disney is doing to Star Wars these days. I can't wait for the Mandalorian movie because they're finally giving Filoni a shot at a movie, and everything he's been doing lately is stuck to the Star Wars theme. John Doe. Printable yeah. So once I get this printer built down, John Doe, I'll be able to print out sorting trays for future projects. So that's another reason why I'm looking forward, but I'm taking my time enjoying it, you know, showing the process as I'm going, because not everyone has built Vorons, and I'm one of those people that hasn't built a Voron. So going through and, you know, I figured this is a bit of a new perspective. Projects, they did make it a bit lazy, and it feels nowadays that the Marvel movies, it's hey, we kind of wrapped up the big store we have and we can't seem to get a new hook. So if they can find a new hook, I think Marvel can make a comeback. But right now it's just we need that next hook. Let's see. Roofman wasn't John Doe. Roofman wasn't bad. Frankenstein wasn't bad. Smashing Machine was meh. I'm familiar with Frankenstein. Don't know if I've seen Smashing Machine or Roofman, John Doe. Are you recommending I go watch those? Because if you are, I'm going to have James here put them in a list for us to watch. Don't shake your head at that. You're the one with the easy access keyboard and word processor. Okay, Roofman's worth watching. They want a guaranteed $1 billion, so they keep trying to play it safe. And people, projects, I do not disagree. They are looking for this is going to make us money versus, you know, the entertainment value that movies used to be of, you know, hey, we want to make money on this, but we also want to entertain. Now it's just, we don't care if it entertains. We want money. And if it doesn't make money, we'll write it off and we'll still make money that way. Okay. Roofman's the new Channing Tatum? Okay. I like Channing Tatum. The first movie I ever saw him in was Step Up. No. Yeah, it was Step Up. Kid can dance. Well, Channing Tatum was hilarious in New Guy. So I think all of us that have been streaming can appreciate the New Guy movie, or those that watch streams or streamers themselves. Just the interaction and everything. It's a fun little movie. There's no real substance to it, no real lesson, but it's entertaining. Let's see here. Project. After 20 years of Marvel movies, people just want something new. I can agree with that. I also agree on, I don't think it'll be a superhero story. I'm waiting for Down Under. I think Filoni will do a good job because all the Disney IP that he's made since Lucas retired has been a pretty smash hit. James is right. Like, pretty much he's made the only smash hits. And I'm a huge Ahsoka fan. Down Under, I would sit here and put like Ahsoka, Mando, Star Wars Rebels, the Clone Wars, all Filoni stuff. Actually, I don't know. I can't remember. Did Filoni have a hand in Andor? Okay, so we have our little mounts, so that way we can get the Z-motor steppers mounted to the frame. Our next part is getting them mounted to the frame. So, James, we're going to need to switch camera angles. I get to stand up. Ugh. Okay, Filoni did not have a hand in Andor. Okay. So to get these in, we need our M5 roll-ins. That is one thing I wish that Voron would update on their manuals, is they call hammerheads hammerheads, but they call the roll-ins T-nuts. And I can say, to me, it's always been the other way around. Roll-ins have always been roll-ins. The hammerheads were actually what I called T-nuts. Okay, so I need to find... So our back is back here. Projects, I don't think people are done with Star Wars yet. I think it'll take quite a bit for Star Wars to be done. Down Under, I think Ahsoka, the final episode of Ahsoka, just left us on a major cliffhanger. But I'm waiting for season 2 because I'm hoping that something comes out of it. Down Under, give them all shark names. RJ, what are we giving shark names? Okay. Yeah. Star Wars fans are Star Wars fans. We will, if it has the name Star Wars in it, we'll watch it. If it's bad, we will sit here and be very vocal about it. But if it's good, we'll also. So yeah, we have the hammerheads. I'm not sure what you would call the roll-ins for a shark name, though. Okay. So with this, that is going to go like so, but we need to kind of line up our T-nuts. Can you guys? No, you can't. Over a bit. Okay. There you go. So I'm just lining up the roll-ins with our 2 holes, so that way it's easier to find them. And then I'm making sure that I'm doing this the right way. It's showing here. It looks like it's showing on the front, so this should be the right way. We need some M5x40s, socket heads. Hey, Kilo, what's up? Thanks for making it in. Got to see your stream starting on that LDO Delta Flyer kit from Rolahan. Looking really nice. Loving the color scheme you picked. Did you finish that 3rd arm off stream yet, Killa, or waiting on that? Let's see here. projects you're going to build a Delta Flyer after the surgery, it'll be a good little thing to build after that. And Armor's going to do one too. We're going to have Delta Flyers all around. Okay. James is going to put up a poll here real quick, finding out about music preferences. Okay, I'm just getting the motor kind of lined up here, and those do an M5 by 10 button head. Get those. Oh, Armor, you're teasing me with the chili. So I do have a pub sub. I have a pub sub waiting for me, or at least no, half a pub sub. Yeah, for those who don't know, we have down in the southeast of the U.S., we have a grocery store called Publix, and they make some amazing subs. If you ever come down to Florida and you want a pretty good sub, don't do a Subway, don't do a Jimmy John's, don't do anything like that. Head into a Publix and get yourself a sub. You will be happy you did. Let's see here. All right. Southeast US. Killa, they actually have Publix in South Carolina now. They've finally moved up there. They actually put, I think it was Bilo, out of business up there. Wawa subs are pretty good, but they do not hold a candle to Publix subs. I will definitely say that. Okay, so we have our first one in, and it says don't tighten this first one down because we have to take a tensioner and fit it in on the other side. And you want to grab a tensioner so that way the arm can face towards where the Z pulley, where the big pulley is, so that way you can take it and ratchet tension it down to pull this belt tight. All right, looks like we have an answer for the poll, and you guys are liking the lo-fi. Yeah, I don't know how far north they've gone yet, Armor, but I know they're at least in South Carolina. I don't know about North Carolina or anything, or Virginia yet, but yeah, they do. My favorite sub from them, it's a sub they call the chicken tender sub. They take their chicken tenders, chop it up, put it on a sub. It is filling and good. And the best thing is if you sit here and want a certain cheese, if it's in their deli counter, you can get that cheese put on a sub. If you want to make a custom sub, if it's in their deli counter, they'll cut it up, make it for you right there. Okay, so now that we have that, we are going to flip the tensioner, which I'm not sure if I'm doing this right, because when I flip the tensioner and push it, that belt, that would explain why that belt feels loose. When you're putting these on, it helps to make sure that the belt is on the big pulley. Let's see if I can get in here and get this on. All right, let's loosen that up. Because I did a stupid. Da 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 da. Okay. I think it's going to work better now that the GT belt is actually on the big pulley inside of here. What do those of you that have built one of these before? You think that might be an important step? Make sure that your belt is actually around all the pulleys. Okay. I just looked over and saw Project's comment, and my producer's just like, don't worry about it. Wow, they really put a lot of tension on that belt here, so. But we are nice and flush with that, so. Hey, Icon, how you doing? Late, early, you're here watching. That's what matters. Okay, that's nice and on there. Those are nice and good. We're nice and flush with the edges of the extrusions. Make sure everything is decently tight, not overly tight, because again, while we're going into taking metal screws and putting them into metal roll-ins, there's plastic in between. So, oh, our Cybertech has stolen number one from RJ. And yes, I just got to call this out because I like doing that to RJ. It's fun to see his reaction. Let's see here. Carpal tunnel. Okay, so carpal tunnel, yeah, that's not a fun thing. What we're gonna do here is after the first one, oh, got one more thing to do. We got to get our little rubber feet onto the first one. What? Well, for those of you that took advantage of it, anybody find any good deals for Black Friday? I know West 3D and Fabrico had some good deals going. Didn't get to check out KB. Down Under and Mad Dog, I'm sorry, I don't know the Australian vendor. And don't know what Sparta 3D was doing, or if they were even running Black Friday since they're up in Canada. Let's see here. To get this foot in, we need an M5 by 16. Heard that, Armor? I've been spending all of my money on streaming gear. Yeah, for those of you that don't know, cameras are expensive. Or let me rephrase that. Good quality cameras can be expensive. Down under, you're broke from the index pre-order and shipping the flyer. Yeah, I can see where shipping for you would be a bit of a nightmare. Okay, so what it wants us to do is we've done our corner here. It actually wants us to go and do the opposite corner. So I'm going to turn this thing around. And we will do our opposite corner. Let me make sure I get that on camera for us. Roll back up and I get to rotate the way the nuts are. So these nuts on this side get to go nice and close together. Projects, you couldn't even cut your turkey today? Oh, from carpal tunnel and all that you're talking about earlier. Okay. Hey, I sit here and have trouble carving turkey as well. That here's something I never had to do when I was growing up. You know, that was always grandpa and dad's job. Well, then I finally get married, get my own house, and I got to learn on the fly. Let's see here. Osbot cameras make streaming affordable. We'll have to look into those. Okay. All right, we'll have to look into those because one of the things I'm talking to James about, and we're debating on going over, is getting a third camera so that way I can get up close with you guys. He says we don't need a third camera. He doesn't want to juggle another camera. Let's see, on Meat 2, so your overheads of Meat 2 and your face and side are Tiny 2s. And we sat here and we just got a link to Insta360 full pan tilt zoom camera that replaced the phone because we found out our phone, when we used it as a webcam, loves an Intel processor. Hates AMD. The phone had its own biases. Okay, I need to find the proper... Well, James, if you think RJ wants to fight you, we can actually arrange that. He's another Florida man. Let's see here. We're going to get our M5 by 40s again. Just working on finding our T-nut there. Let's see here. RJ, you know you want to come up here anyway. Let's see. Black Friday Amazon. Got 2 P1S hot ends. Full hot end. Wow. I did not know that they were going that price yet. That's a really good deal, John Doe. Bamboo makes some good stuff. You know, they're not for everybody, but they make a good product. And for those that need or want that style product, they work great for them. I think I'm an idiot. And I think I might have these. Oh, thanks. Thanks for agreeing that I'm an idiot, James. Nope, I think I put our Z motors the wrong way because I was just looking at it, and the way I have them, there is no way for that Z pulley to make it through this hole. If I have it this way, it's got to go that way, which means I'm pretty sure, let me double check the other one, and I'm an idiot. I did that one wrong as well, so we get to redo them. Oh, James definitely has this streaming thing down because he has told me to remind you all while we're sitting here and undoing what we've already done. Now's a great time to hit that like button. You know, if it wasn't for him, I honestly do think I would sit here and lose my head because, oh yeah, I've lost my mind a while ago. But the head is kind of important. Uh-oh, we've got a competition between RJ and Cyber for number one chatter. Oh, okay, let's go and unscrew these. And of course, if I do it this way, that means that one's going to be the wrong way. That's the right way. There we go. That's the one I need. Let's move our roll-ins to kind of line up. But hey, you make mistakes, you find them out, you fix them, and you keep going. Yep. If I was perfect, I'd have a lot more money. But I am not perfect, just like everyone. And now you get to sit here and learn from my mistakes. If you're building one of these, check the orientation of your Z pulleys, Z drives, and everything before you start screwing them in. All right, we are flush there. Must get smaller driver to move. Let's see here. Cyber. Missed your message. Cleaning up the workspace. Cyber, you say it won't last long. Just need to @, people like Icon. Oh. Let's see. Yes. For those of you that don't know, Cybertech actually makes his own has made a tool head, and it's still in development and everything. Or actually, correct me if I'm wrong, V1 is out and ready. V2 is what you're working on, correct? Okay, so STLs can be possibly out later tonight, but it's looking like a pretty nice tool head where you can remove the hot end with just 2 screws. Oh no, it's Mike. You don't want to work tomorrow? Thankfully, I don't have to, but I know that feeling. I definitely know the feeling of not wanting to go to work, especially my work is ramping up the It's holiday time. You're in mandatory overtime now. Okay, this time we will make sure that the pulley, that the belt is on the pulley before we start screwing things down. Let's see here. Yeah, John, I don't have a Discord yet. I have to get it set up and everything. Need to get those little announcement bots and everything set up. I've got to talk to people about what they're using, because while it's possible to sit here and do it all yourself, you can also sit here and lean on others that have done it before, and they can help you out and spread and share the knowledge, kind of like what we're doing here. It's, you know, I haven't done this before, but by seeing the mistakes I make and everything, hopefully that'll make your builds easier. And we get to pass on knowledge that way. Yeah, RJ, I'm in Cyber's Discord quite a bit. Okay. And with that, nice and flush. We've corrected our mistake already. So we're gonna flip this around again and do the next corner. So in this case, we need to go here, and that is the proper way. I'm gonna push those out of the way. Get these roll-ins somewhat lined up here, make it a bit easier. Canada creator built the LDO Delta kit upside down. Oh, are you talking about where Nero sat here and printed on the Delta upside down? So the orange things, James, actually hold a nut inside of them, and those nuts are there. So that way, when we have this on there, it gives the screw something to go into, which I forgot to put back into the one on the other side. So let me get that one in here real quick. Let's see. We got that one there. This side, we are, nope, I don't like the flush on that one. Sticking out a bit on this side. We'll loosen up a bit. And to give it a little wiggle. There we go. And then tighten it back up. Make sure that stays in place. And again, gonna make sure that the belt is on the big pulley. If you're building one of these, make sure you have something small. It does make it really easy to just get in there, grab one of those roll-ins, shift it over to make it so that your holes can line up. That way you're not fishing around and being like, where's the hole? Oh, James. We really need to get you a mic. Oh, you would have so much fun if you had a mic over there. No, you're not allowed to be stealthy, James. We gotta get you a mic. James apparently wants to play a rogue in D&D. Here. Tell James to use Discord voice for a mic. Discord and OBS, we found, don't like each other very much. We've tried it and it did not sound that great. Oh, so Bad Dog last week it was give him a raise. This week it's give him a pay cut. Okay, so we need more M5 roll-ins. What did you drop? You never had sanity. How could you drop your sanity? But we might sit here and give it a try for next week. He actually has a mic sitting in front of him. We just need to, he either needs to get his analog digital converter up and going, or he needs to get the XLR adapter for the Elgato's Stream Deck. But yeah, if we can get either of those doing, we can actually get him talking. But he's also a bit camera shy and voice shy. So, you know, just like here, I don't want to force anybody to do anything. If he's not comfortable, I'm not going to force him. I think it'd be great to hear the wisecracks he makes at me from time to time, but oh, Killa, have fun. Thanks for showing up. We got plenty of build left to do, so plenty of more streams. So we'll see you in. I think you said you're going to be off next week, so in 2 weeks maybe I'll see you on your stream. Yeah, down under, it's shy is the word I use, but it's more of a privacy thing with him. He's a very private person. Oh no, it's Mike. I would have to stream a long time, I think, to be pushing plastic next stream. Oh God, RJ, you've infected James. He's calling for a 24-hour stream. Okay, we are on the big pulley. RJ, I would do a 50-hour stream. The problem is I would need to take days off from work to do that. Well, yeah, not really, but I would need to start like Saturday evening to do that. And there's a lot of people that sit here and stream during those times. And, you know, I like being polite and freeing up some time for other people to stream as well. Because one, I'm not one of the big streamers yet. Maybe one day, but not yet. And two, you know, we do have other small streamers that, or smaller streamers that, you know, deserve to get the watches too and everything. So while people can watch multiple streams, I don't know how YouTube counts those views and everything. We really do need to get you a mic so you can just say those things. Let's see here. You only got the 15, then it was dicey. Oh, for a stream mic? Yeah, the long streams do get kind of complicated. Especially, I believe that once you go over 12 hours, YouTube won't keep the VOD. So especially something like this where, you know, I want to record it for not only myself, but for other people. Having it where YouTube doesn't record that stream would be a bit counterproductive to what I'm doing on the channel. I'm beginning to think Repo doesn't sleep. Repo is like an insomniac's insomniac. I mean, if it wasn't for food last week, I probably would have gone longer, but food. I like my food. Okay, let's get these lined up here partially. So hopefully the screw will just go down in. Needs to be fully monetized. Okay. There's a weather streamer that I watched that I had learned the 12-hour thing from, and I'm pretty sure he's monetized, but oh, I think I see. To have a stream go that long, you need monetization turned on. Is that what you mean? Down under? Let's see. So I'm just getting this thing nice and flush to the frame. We're good on both sides. Orientation was checked beforehand, James. Let's see, is this going in? No, why are you not? Well, that would be why. It was not close enough. Do all these checks to make sure, and then still don't get it. All right, we are nice and flush the edges, so I'm going to tighten this down. Just so it doesn't shift as I'm putting on the stepper motor. Okay, so yeah, you need that first milestone of to get monetization turned on to go over 12 hours. So RJ, you have a bit until I can do a 24-hour stream, because I think we were, when we started the stream, I think we were 5 subs away from 50, and I need like 1,000 apparently to do over a 12-hour stream. So just a little bit of ways to go before we can do a stream over 12 hours. Nice and flush there now. So we're going to tighten down our last motor, and then we're going to go back and put the feet on all of these, because I was apparently really bad and forgot to do that as I was doing the rest of these. Yeah, down under subs seem to come and go, but they seem to come in waves. Or at least that's the way it's been on mine, but I've only been doing this for 3 weeks, so I'm still in the, hey, subs are coming in at a fairly rushy pace at this point. I know that's going to slow down big time here soon. But for me, the sub thing is more about, hey, I've got more people that can come and watch, not necessarily about monetization, because if I was doing this for money, there's a lot easier ways to make money on 3D printing than streaming. I'm doing this because, one, we have a good community, and I want, give back by giving some content for it and showing new builders and everything. You don't have to be afraid that someone that's never built one of these before can just come in and start doing it, and to pass on knowledge and have fun. It's also making it so that I actually do finish it, because I know myself, and if I don't have that motivation piece to sit here and keep working on it, I'll sit here and go ADHD on myself and be like, ooh, look at this new shiny thing, I'll do that, and then this ends up sitting in the corner, and then I'll be like, oh yeah, I needed to get to that, and then I can't remember where I was. Oh, I'm gonna have to take it all apart to restart. No, that's not worth it. Yeah, those you're the first one to do a video on something. It definitely help get the streamers. Yeah, that down under, I can also see that 12 to 16-hour time difference, depending on where you are in Australia, can definitely make it hard for the US viewers. A bit easier on the European. Okay, so we have our 4 Let's see if I can get all 4 in camera here. Yep. We've got our 4 Z motors and everything on here. So I believe our next step is we get to build the Z idlers. So I'm going to leave that up there for now, and I'll just do this standing up. So what I'm going to need is some M3 nuts. We got some M3 hex nuts. Let's see. Down under, you're hoping Vivid and Index vids in the new year help. Honestly, in the new year, I think Index is going to... Anybody that can get their hand on Index, I think is going to have a pretty good new year. That is the new hotness. Especially, you know, you've got those Prusa printers that you can just throw them on. I know Steve, when he did his on showing it off on the Trident, that one got pretty big, but Steve's also already a pretty big streamer. So then all the Z idlers, for those of you that haven't done this before, come in 2 parts. One goes into the other, and they're held together with a screw. But you don't want to tighten them down all the way because they kind of float. So that way you can tension up a screw down here in the bottom to give tension to your belt. Yeah, that Index stream was insane. His and Grant's when Grant or 3D Musketeer did the debut stream over there at Formnext. Okay. So with this, we have our idlers here. If you look on the top side, there's a space for the M3 hex nut. We're going to need 4 of those hex nuts. And then depending on either A, who printed these for you, if you bought them from someone, or if you printed them yourself, how tight your tolerances are. They may just slide in. It may be a friction fit. Another thing I've seen that can help is if you have a bit of trouble getting it in, it's just barely not there. If you take a screw from the other side and screw that through, you can use that screw to pull it down in. In this case, that one just kind of slipped right in, so I don't have to do that. So I also need my M3x16s, which I have right here. And then this is going to go up through your secondary color part and go into the M3 hex we just put in there. And then I'm just using my finger to hold that hex nut in. But it also helps if I grab the right size hex driver. So yeah, I'm just using that to hold it in, and I want it to barely get in there because what I actually want is I want this thing to be as low as possible, so that way once I do get my Z belts onto the printer, I can then tighten them up to get the tension versus having to loosen them. Yeah, the pre-order was kind of a nightmare. You know, everybody wanting it so much, their servers got DDoSed like crazy. But hey, it's terrible that happened, that, you know, people were having trouble getting in, but at the same time, it let them know you have a product that people want. I still can't believe it only took like 15 or 30 minutes for all the product they had to sell out. Let's see here. I need my other hex wrench, my other hex driver. And again, I'm just going in. And I'm pretty much going in until I'm on the other side of that hex driver, or that hex nut. So it's nice and flush there. And let it go. That way I know that the screw has bit into that hex nut and it has enough strength to hold. But it's not so far in that we don't have any leeway. Now with this, I'm finding if I can get it, I just kind of use a driver to line it up so it doesn't flip and rotate as it's going in there. And that's actually been working out. I'm sorry I did not do those on camera before, but that's actually been working out pretty well to keep that hex nut from rotating while it's while it's falling into that little hole. And again, just tighten it down enough that where it's just going through to the other side of that hex nut and letting it just drop down. We've got one more of these to go, and then we have to put our pulleys on the other side. So just taking a small, where did my small one get? There's my small one. Small one, sticking it through the hole, lining it up, and just letting it fall in. It falls in nice and straight that way. And then I just turn it upside down so the nut can't fall out. And start screwing until I feel it on the other side of my finger. And with that, that's all there was to it. So the next thing we need our 20-tooth idlers, which are these right here. Oh, it actually took 2 hours. Oh, it was the timeouts and everything. Because yeah, I could have sworn I was hearing them saying, yeah, 45 minutes it was sold out, but because of the timeouts, it took a little bit longer down under. Little plastic baggie. Let go of the idlers. All right, we got our 4 idler pulleys. With this, we need an M5 by 30 button head. Get it 4 of those. Now, with this, you want to be very careful because you're screwing through plastic. So you want to be very deliberate as you're screwing it in, but you also, once you get it down, you do not want to go too hard because then you can strip out the other side. And if you do that, then you've got to reprint the part. Oh, hey, Matt Owl, how you doing? Just going all the way through, and we're just going to go till it touches. We're not going to put much any torque or really anything on this, so that way we don't have to worry about it stripping out the plastic, because all this is really here to do is hold in this little idler pulley to guide the belt around the top, and so we can tension it up. So as soon as I feel any resistance, that's where I'm stopping. And you can see it comes out nice and flush there. Focus, thank you. On the other side. It was easier to get Taylor Swift tickets than an index. I would not doubt that at all, honestly. And let's see here. I mean, especially like then again, you also have like the European Taylor Swift thing where that concert was just canceled, so those tickets were impossible to get your hands on. So does anybody have any plans or anything for the holidays? Any places that they like to go or anything? I personally used to go up to the Carolinas every holiday and stay in some cabins. But since I started working the job that I'm working now, that has not really been an option that has been available to me, because they black out our vacation dates because it's our busy time and we aren't allowed to take vacations during that time. But at least they pay us for it. The one time of the year that my job does not care about overtime. Mike, you're going to work as much as you can until the shop closes and then try to work at your house? Now, is that to get extra money from working, or is that just to stay out of the house as long as possible to reduce the amount of honeydew projects you have to do? Now, one other thing to be aware of when you're doing this, you have the little guide here on the side of the idler that's going to go into the aluminum extrusions. Big thing you want to do is you want to make sure that when you're screwing in the bolt into the plastic, that it's on the opposite side from that guide. Oh God, I mentioned the honeydew list, and now James wants a honeydew melon. What about you? Let's see. Hopefully next year you'll be back to full time, so you get holiday pay is nice. My work sat here and they don't like paying me holiday pay because I make too much. And so they will do everything they can to avoid actually scheduling me on an actual holiday. But everything else is fair game. Oh, James, you have a fellow melon enthusiast. First sign of a real payment for James. Oh. Now, do you want melon or do you want melon candy? Actual melon? Okay. No.
Or buy it free.
No, you got to eat the rind and all. What do you think, Mad Dog? We'll get James a melon, but he has to eat it rind and all. So, Mike, you're the only part-time employee, so you're the only one that's actually affected when the shop closes. Ooh, that's harsh. I don't know what you do for a living, Mike, and if you don't feel comfortable sharing, you don't have to. But what do you know? You mentioned a shop and everything. Is it automotive, retail, electronics, service industry? Oh, Mad Dog wants you to eat a melon rind and all on camera. He would need a very big raise to do that. You build wiring harnesses and cables. You solder and crimp all day. Mike, I think yes, I remember you do the industrial. It was you that did the industrial fabrication, if I'm correct. You'll have to forgive me if I got that wrong, because my memory. Crap would be an improvement for my memory. Okay, we have our four idlers in with the idler pulleys all done. Okay, so automotive. The two industries I don't have much in. I've done a little bit of industrial, but I can drive a car. Can't fix it. I can change my oil. That's about it. Yeah. So between me, James can do the electrical work in a car, but when it comes to engines, we're useless. Okay, we're gonna turn this over now. I'm watching the camera. I just about gave James a heart attack because he's like watching me flip this over and the camera's right there. He's like, I will kill you if you break that camera. Mad Dog, well, no, we could get you one of those little Japanese square watermelons. Or one of those little mini watermelons. What size watermelon are you thinking, Mad Dog? Get him a melon and drill a hole in it and fill it with vodka? I don't know. I think you're more of a rum person, aren't you? Oh. James's official viewpoint is if it'll get him drunk, he does not care what kind of alcohol it is. A large watermelon. Well, Jeff, large is a relative term. Okay, so we have the back here. I'm a visual person, so what it wants us to do that way, or that's the way that would make sense. That is, in fact, the way that they do want it. Yay! Okay. So Mike's a rum guy, and Mad Dog says bigger than a basketball. Hmm? So how long do you think, James, it would take you to eat a watermelon that's bigger than a basketball? James's official answer for how long it would take him to eat a watermelon that's bigger than a basketball is until the sun burns out, because he wouldn't do it. All right, let's take... We are going to rotate this onto its side. That way you guys can see what I'm doing. Let me see here. There we go. You can kind of see that way. I'm just taking this and lining the T-nuts up with the eyes. And now I'm calling them T-nuts because that's what I keep seeing on the screen. And then we need some M5 by 30s. And they are button heads. Well, Mad Dog, he can't do it this stream. I don't have a watermelon here for him to eat. And now we're going to stab Mr. Idler guy in the eye with a screw. Now, the other big thing to do, in addition to, you kind of want to keep it flush. Here, let's move this. You want to keep it flush with the top of the extrusion here. But you also want to make sure that you're taking and pushing it in. So that way that guide can keep it kind of aligned. In there. And then again, just like the other ones, you want it tight, but you don't want it over tight, because if you over tighten it, you can crack the plastic. And then you're going to be sad because now it's, oh, now I need to print new idlers. Okay. Get some more roll-ins on here. Then we need to sit here. That is our correct one. We're going to, oh, I'm in the way. Let me kind of line up there. And then grab more M5 by 30s, which I left over there. So, I've got some plans for what to do after the Voron. But are there any kind of videos or streams that you guys, the audience, would like to see? Let's see. Ooh, down under, that's rough. Yeah, get some sleep. Thanks for coming out, man. When's your next stream? So that, let people know here if you've got a plan for it already. But we will see you whenever you stream next, and you have some good sleep. Ugh. frame is starting to gain some weight. Havoc, you're good with any video but a foot video. Okay, so Wednesday night, you know. Wednesday night, if you're here and you haven't subscribed to Down Under Maker, go ahead and head to his channel. James, you think you can find and put a link for that? So you don't even need to click anything. If you also watch Steve builds, Steve will raid right into him. He makes some awesome content. He's very clear and concise. Let's rotate this so you guys see what you might not be able to see this one. Yeah, unfortunately, with those top idlers in, you really won't be able to see the ones that I'm working on now. Oh, Town Hunter, I like that name for James, Anana producer. Okay. No, I don't think there's a. Maybe we can get it here. Okay, so getting these last two into, but yeah, if you're here and you haven't subscribed to Down Under, you know, click that link, go subscribe to him, then come on back. We'll still be here. You know, he's also on that same milestone journey that I'm on to get that next achievement on YouTube, because that subscriber count is a high, lofty thing to hit. All right, we're good there. We're pushing in. And then we're going to tighten down. And with that, we have our Z idlers in. I believe that is the last step of this section. The next section, they want us to put the bed in. The bed is heavy. We're going to skip that until the very end, because with the Z steppers, it already is getting heavier, and this is a big frame as it is. So we will skip that. And we will get into the AB motor mounts and the AB idlers. But before we get to that, we will be right back. We're going to take a quick little break, you know, go to the bathroom and everything. And we will be right back. See you guys in a bit. All right, we're back. So we finished up. I've got the framing everything down here with the Z, mounting the Z motors, the pulleys, and the Z idlers. So our next step that we're going to get done is the AB mounts and the AB idlers. Now, something I want to point out, because I was going crazy on stream. James, if you can switch over to the computer screen and show me at the same time. So down here, if you look, it shows like a little belt where the belt teeth can kind of clip in to the A and B idlers. The way that Voron is doing it now is they do not have those little teeth. So if you purchase a kit from someone and they print out the parts from you, if you're going and looking for those AB idlers, they're not going to look like the images that are in the manual. They will not have those little teeth groove cutouts on the printed parts. So, just as a warning for anybody that's going and building these the first time, the manual does not, the pictures in the manual are not always the same as the printed parts. But what we've got to do now is on one of these ABs, the one with the cutout, right, there is some extra holes compared to the other one with the cutout. You can see we have an extra hole here on this one and over here compared to this one. The one with the extra holes gets some heat set inserts. So once again, we get to do a few more heat set inserts. Armor, you missed a whole thing about us sitting here trying to go James and eating a watermelon on stream, but he says that won't happen. We're going to need 4 heat set inserts, 2 for our accent piece tensioner, and 2 for the AB mount, or for the, I believe that one is the A motor mount. Got our trusty pine sol again. Gonna get this plugged in. And I do mine I've been doing mine at 265. This is ASA, so for ASA ABS, 265 seems to be working for me. We're already heated up, so we'll take it over our shoulder again, just to keep it out of the way. Then we have our metal piece. This right here is for those of you that didn't catch it last stream, it's so after we put the heat set in, we can put the metal piece on to cool down the heat set to make it so we don't burn ourselves touching it, but also when you're putting the heat set in, it can sit here and cause some of the plastic to ooze up. This helps keep it nice and flat by kind of pushing it down, not giving it a chance to ease up and actually melt into that heat set insert, which can help it hold better. So we're just putting constant pressure so it gets nice and flush. You want to make sure that you are trying to stay nice and parallel. And once that's done, you can kind of run your finger over it and you can feel if it sticks up. If it doesn't stick up, you're pretty good. You can also take a side view and look to see if you see it sticking up. The closer you can get to flush with the top, the better, because if you go too far, you know, it's not the end of the world, but you're screwing more through it. And if you don't go far enough, that can leave little bumps and everything that things can get caught on or rub against. So it's, the closer to flush you can get it, the better. And it does not take much pressure at all to really get these things going in. Like, honestly, the weight of your hand pushing down on it is enough to get in. You don't need to add much extra force onto it. So now on this one, you can double check. We go in on the side here with our heat set. And again, as close to up and down as we can. And the weight of your hand, a lot of times, is enough. Get that to go down. And then I just get a nice flat piece of metal afterwards and just kind of push down on it, keep it nice and flat, but it also pulls some of that heat away so it can stop melting plastic and everything. When you're done, you run your finger over, see if you feel it sticking up or anything. And if you don't, then you're all good to go on to the next one. Armor, how's that chili? Now, one thing I will warn you about as you're doing... Oh, how's the chili, Armor? You know, you told us about this amazing chili. You came back and said, you know, how good it was. Is it still good? All right, so that should be all of our heat sets. So we're going to unplug the pine sol, let it cool down. But then we need some M5 nuts. Those are going to go into the bottom side of the accent color piece for the idlers. Oh, so not only did you have chili, but you had chili fries. Oh, I am so happy I ate before the stream this time, Armor. Otherwise you might be making the stream end early. Once we get done here, James and I get to go finish that Whiplash movie, and I get to finish the other half of my sub. You know, I just realized a lot of 3D print streamers end up talking about food. Anybody have an idea why we all talk about food? Okay, so in my case, I've got to be very careful about these M5 nuts because they fit, but they are not a friction fit. So they just kind of fall right in. So now what we need is our M5x40, and we're going to use this as kind of a guide. to go through and build our bearing stack. And for some reason, they show it going in one part, but then we're inserting them into another. So with Voron, the bearing stack is always shim, bearing, bearing, shim. We're going to grab our M5 precision spacers. For the A idlers, or for the A and B idlers, we're going to need 2. So we have shim, and then we grab our flange bearings, our F695 flange bearings. So it's shim, and then next to that first shim, we put the first bearing with the flange down, and the next bearing with the flange up, and then another shim. That is all there is to the bearing stack. If you notice, we have it in here, it just kind of sits in there. Nice and flush. Not with those shims, it's touching each side, but those bearings look like they're floating in between because of the shims. Then after this, we get to sit here and you got to be very careful and pull that bolt out. And then our little accent piece goes on. And next time I do this on the next one, I think it's going to be better. Oh no, I wouldn't be able to leave the bolt in because the tensioner. So we're going to take that out, let all that fall out. The tensioner gets in the way of leaving the bolt in. What we are going to do this time is take it and build it the other way. It doesn't really matter which way you build it, as long as it's in between these two pieces. So it doesn't matter as you're building it which one's the top, which one's the bottom. But once we get this in, the hex nut side is actually going to be, there's 2 pieces on these idlers. There's a thicker side and a thinner side. The hex nut is actually going to be on the thicker side. So if you notice here, you can see you have a thick side here and a thin side over here. The hex nut is on this side where the thick side is. So let's try to have some fun again. And I'm going to try to pull that I had to pull the bolt out as straight as possible so that way when I go back through, it gets back in there nice and neat. So now I need to grab the hex driver. We're going to go in and screw it into the hex nut. And then again with this, you don't want to go too tight because you are sandwiching plastic. And you want this to actually be able to kind of slide. But you also don't want to do the mistake that I just did. And we are making all sorts of mistakes this stream because I just put the wrong accent piece on. And so the screw that goes through that allows you to move these in and out would not actually hit the hole. So these are sighted. We're going to just try to be very careful and not disturb that stack that we built. Nope, we just disturbed it. Oh well. You know, I look at streamers that have been doing this a while and they make it look so easy, especially if you have like those dowel pins. Apparently it's really easy if you have one of those instead of the bolt, because then you can just leave the pin in as you're going. But this actually is a bit of a pain in the butt to get these bearing stacks to line up. Oh, come on, you. Almost. I can see it. Got it. Success. Yay. I also don't like the way that that is feeling when it's going into that nut. Let's try flipping it over. Nope, we're just going to try a different nut there. There we go. That nut feels a lot better. Say it again, dude. Every time I've been saying this, James has been saying that's what she said. Okay, and so then on the other side of this, we have these M3 washers, but these are actually black, so that way, since they're visible, they look nicer on the outside. Let's say I don't know how many people we got in here right now. James? 7 people in here? Hey! So we need some. We need our M3 by 40 socket heads next. I'm sitting down again. And with that, that is where this is going to go through and screw into that heat set that we put in earlier. But that heat set is all the way through the idler on the other side. You don't have to go far in. And that allows you to tighten this up and tension it. And tension your belt. So again, I'm sitting here going to the point where it's all the way forward on me, I believe. Yeah, that should be all the way forward. So that way, when I need to tension the belt, I can actually come over here and tension it and pull on the belt instead of having to loosen it after I've shortened the belts. That's pulley number 1. Now we get to do it again. Let's see. Again, I'm going to need that M5 by 40. We go shim. Bearing. Bearing. Shim. Then we sandwich it all together. Pop our little accent color piece in. And we're going to pull our bolt out, and then I'm going to slide this all the way over, because that's the way that I had it done, was that it was slid all the way over. That time it went in a lot nicer and smooth, easier. So we're going to get that where it's snug, but we can still move it because we do want to be able to shift this. So if you can't move it, loosen it up a bit, because that is a big thing, is you want to be able to move it by tightening that bolt or the M540 through it. Let's see here. Oh, Mad Dog, I remember when I got that message. It is definitely time to get excited. Couple of more hours and you get your box. Now, Mad Dog, I didn't ask this earlier. LDO kit, Fistech kit, C-bore, Magic Phoenix. Who makes the kit, or did you self-source everything? Okay. And there are our 2 AB idlers. Okay, so it's a Seaboard kit. Hey, I've seen a few builds of them. They make a pretty good kit. Their components are pretty nice. Gonna get some Mountain Dew here. Oh, Mad Dog, I sit here and, you know, I can empathize with the, hey, the price is the right point. I sat here and went back and forth a long time looking at the different kits, and, you know, finally decided on the reason I decided on the LDO was because it seemed very, very beginner friendly, and at the time I didn't have a JST crimper or anything like that, and so without the crimper, a Seaboard kit or a Phys-Tech kit or something like that, where I'd have to shorten the cables myself and crimp the ends on them, would have been a bit of a harder build than the LDO, and that's why I finally went with LDO. But Seaboard was definitely one of the ones I was looking at. Now, did you get, because even like I've even seen like the Seaboard ones that come all-wheel drive and with the CNC parts already on there, that are, even those are cheaper than the LDO sometimes, or quad drive. Mad Dog, I can definitely sympathize with that too. When I first started looking into doing 2.4, I was like, heard everyone talking about self-source, and I'm like, yeah, let me do this. And then it was, okay, we go to the little kit, or we go through the little guide that's on the Voron site, and I click a link, and oh, that doesn't work. So now it's, okay, now I have to do this. Now I have to figure out how many of these things I need, because sometimes it wouldn't tell me, you know, how many M5x40 nuts you needed or something like that. So I can understand getting lost doing the self-sourcing. Okay, so now that our AB idlers are done, we get to go on to our A drive. So with this one, the one with the heat sets is your A drive. That is where they're going to have you build your pulleys. Let's see. It's the 2.4 R2 upgraded boards, EB Touch. Okay. Yep, same, you know, similar style kit to what we're doing, because this is a 2.4 R2 as well. But, you know, that the upgraded board, the EBB Touch, that's going to be a nice little thing. And you're going can on that one? One of these days I might go can, but this one I'm going to stick USB, because I like the easiness that USB brings. Granted, I have... All right, so Mad Dog, you know, you can, if you need help, follow along with what we're doing here, because it's the exact same size. I don't, except for the shims and everything, I don't think there's really any difference so far between the build that I've done and what you're going to get done. So if you need some help, come on back and watch the streams. That's what I'm. One of the main reasons I'm doing this is that there's some guides out there to a visual guide for people, because some people like things visually. So okay, so with your AB mount, one that you put the heat sets in earlier, you put in your 2 M5x30s and flip it over. Now, if we're looking at this, we're going to be building 3 bearing stacks. The one that's closer to the cutout is only going to have 1 bearing stack on it. The one that's farther away from this little cutout, we're actually going to do a double bearing stack. So the cool thing is with the bearing stacks, every bearing stack is the same, even if you double it up. So they all go shim, bearing, bearing, shim. So that's how you do the single. The double is just going to go shim, bearing, bearing, shim, another shim, bearing, bearing, shim. Yep. You just want your flanges on the opposite side, so you have a nice little smooth area in the middle. Let me see if I can. There we go. You get in the bearings on the outside, so you have that nice little smooth area in the middle, so that way your belts can ride on those. Now, with the other side, it's kind of easy to tell which one goes with which, because with these, one of these has the cutout, the other one doesn't. So your other cutout one is going to go on top of this one. And we just have to get now these again. We find the right hex head. These again, be very careful, because we don't need to tighten these things down too much, because A, we're going into plastic, but B, these bearings are supposed to move. So you don't want to tighten them down so much that the bearings don't move, because then your belts are going to rub on them. And that kind of defeats the purpose of having bearings. So once you get them in, just kind of roll your belts, make sure that they're rolling, or roll the bearings so you can feel that they're rolling. But you don't need to tighten these things down as much. As soon as you start feeling resistance on that head, that's where you can kind of stop. It's just they're just there to hold this together so it doesn't come apart. So the next thing we're going to do we're going to grab another motor. This time we're going to use the motors that have leads on them. And these are the ones that have the leads are going to be your AB motors. As far as the model numbers, this one is a 42 STH48, and I believe that was the same as the other one. But we need some more pulleys, but this time it's also the GT 22 20 tooth pulleys. Well, Mad Dog, I am happy that you're watching this to get some ideas on building yours, and you can learn from the mistakes I've already done and hopefully pointed out. Because just like you, I started watching all these streams and videos on how to build this before I even started, and still make mistakes. Yep. And then James just told me pretty soon he's going to actually start taking the streams that we're doing and cutting them down to a bit more digestible stream links or video links and everything. So, you know, yeah, so that way you can see, hey, oh, I'm doing the frame. Okay, let me, you know, let's cut out all the talking bits and get to the bits where, hey, I'm actually showing me building the frame and or talking about techniques that I'm using to build the frame to make it a bit easier for newer builders to come take a look. Eventually, if I sit here and never get another 2.4 kit, I might just build that kit off stream, but then use that kit as a way to make actual tutorial videos. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm just taking the pulleys, because we're going to need, I know we're going to need both of them, and I am just putting grub screws in, but I'm not going all the way in. I'm just kind of getting them started, so that way they're there. Now, Mad Dog, if you don't have it already, you've heard me complain about it enough. Get yourself a Loctite stick, kind of like a glue stick, or gel. Do not use the liquid Loctite if your Seaboard kit does not come with Loctite on it. It is a nightmare. It gets everywhere. Everything tonight, apparently, according to my producer, is a skill issue. Okay, so what I'm going to do here now, on the A motor, the tooth side of the pulley goes out away from the actual housing. So you don't want it like this. Let me get up here and show you. You don't want it like this. You actually want the teeth away from this housing for the A motor. So then what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab our little, and I'm going to get it started just enough on here to where I can slide it up and down, but I don't want to be able to turn it around like I'm doing right now. You can see there, I went too tight because I could move it. I couldn't move it up and down, but see, now that grub screw is keeping me from turning it all the way, but I can still slide it up and down. That way, I can use our little guide here and see if this will focus enough. I cannot tell. Can you see letters on that, James? Okay, you can see right here where my thumb is, it says A. That's actually the guide to put for our A motor mount for the pulley on our A stepper. And with that, you just kind of rest it up against the side here. And make sure that it fits in there, and then you can tighten down the one that you almost have tightened. And then I'm going to go back and double check and make sure that, yes, I'm still within that tolerance. And Nope, looks like I shifted up a bit. Now I shifted down. This is where it gets to be really tricky. Because you might think that you have it and you tighten it down, but then it turns out you weren't actually flush and flat, and so you actually weren't in the middle. But there we go. That is actually nice and flat. So then we're going to take and tighten down our other one. So the flat one is kind of a key there. It sits here and makes it so it doesn't rotate. The other one kind of helps keep it centered and everything, but also gives it a little bit of bite on that shaft. So we have that. Now, with this, when we have our A-mount this way with the little teeth over here for the belt on the right-hand side, we want the cables for the stepper facing away from that side. That way, once you get your extrusion in right here, this cable can go along the extrusion. Now to secure this in, we need some M3 by 30s. So we have our M3 by 30s. And it will be 3 of them. And again, you want these snug, but not overly tight, because again, you are sandwiching plastic and screwing into metal. So you can actually, but the threads on these are pretty fine. So you can either have a case where you break your part, or because these are fine threaded, you can actually strip them out by going too tight. I'm just going to get these in there nice and snug. Now, the next step it says is to actually flip it around and take a look, and you want to make sure that that little tooth idler here is kind of lined up with this bearing. Because if you can get those lined up properly, then you know that your belt path is going to be pretty good. So when I look at this dead on, our little idler is right between the top and the bottom flange where the teeth are. So the teeth are right dead onto that. If it's off, it's not the end of the world, but having it off can cause things like extra wear on the belts, and it can eat away at the belts, which diminishes their lifespan. And then they eventually snap, and then you have a bad day, because now you have to go source new belts if you didn't have spares sitting around already, or you're just out of printer, which, if this is your only printer, can make for a very bad day. So we're going to. Now this time, we only have 2 of these. Let me get this off the table. This time we have 2 of these, but if you'll notice, one of these has 3 big holes and one has 3 small holes. You want the one with the bigger holes because that's actually going to be our top side, just like this one. So you're going to feed your screws through here and flip it over to build your bearing stack. Now this time, if we orient this way, we flip where the double bearing is. So this time, the one closer, well, it's still single, just like last time, on the closer one to the end, double here. But obviously compared to this one, where you had double on the outside, double here, double on the outside, single here. And this one, it's actually a bit easier to tell because you can see you have this little lip here that makes it so one bearing stack will only fit there. We're going to get more of our bearings out here. And again, it's going to go shim, bearing, bearing, shim. That's our single stack. And then shim, bearing, bearing, shim, hit another shim, bearing, bearing, shim, and then this is my first time doing this, but I found it was actually quite easy just to kind of hold those tips and flip them over to get these screws kind of started. On the other side, but you also want to make sure there is a key through here that makes it so the keys will fit together, the 2 halves will fit together properly, and that makes sure that you're lined up properly. And again, I'm just kind of going down until I feel that resistance, and then we're going to make sure that those bearings can rotate smoothly and we haven't tightened them down too much. And now that we're on the B motor, whereas last time the pulley, the tooth side was at the top, this time we are going to flip it over so that the tooth side of the pulley is closer to the body. And again, our little guide, the one side that was A, if you look on the opposite side of it, it says B. So that is going to be our little guide to sit here and make sure that we have this in the right position. All right, so we're lined up there in the middle. We're just tightening this down. And then just double check it afterwards. We are still there in the middle. And again, we have our two side where we're going to be clamping down the belt. The little leads, get over. Cyber, Loctite is on those grub screws. They were actually, from LDO, they come pre-applied with Loctite. Let's see. RJ, let's see here. RJ fell asleep. Mad Dog took his number 1 spot. RJ got his number 1 spot back. Okay, so with this, we're going to grab our M3x30s and do the same thing. We are going to go through the plastic here and into the motor to secure this mount to the motor itself. Yeah, thankfully LDO was kind and they pre-Loctited those grub screws, because I would not want to use the Loctite I have trying to get it onto grub screws right now. I would be saying blue at the end of this if I had to do that. So that is the end of that section. Oh, the build plate? No. We still haven't. James is asking me, you know, the next step and everything. He was saying, hey, let's go ahead and put the bed plate on. I'm like, no, we still have a lot more to go before that. So the next thing to do is to actually build what's called the gantry. For those of you that don't know, if you can see on screen, this is the gantry. In this case, this beam right here where you see the rail, that's your X rail. It moves left to right on the X axis, and then that entire rail will move, the entire aluminum extrusion there will move backwards and forwards on your Y axis. And then all of this gets mounted inside of the frame that I have over here. At this point, I'm gonna have to do some prep for that and everything, because sitting here and everything, my back is tensing up. So I have a feeling, you know, we actually finished the one section that we didn't get done last stream, and finished an entire second section. So our I think next stream will be, let's see where this one goes. We go through here. I believe it's just the gantry that is the next section. And there's going to be a lot of heat sets and doing more lubricating of rails. So yeah, next stream I think we will get the gantry built. But I think that's actually a good stopping point for this stream. That way we can cut it up. We have a nice little cut up point for when James here decides to cut up everything and make some tutorial videos out of them. Other than that, what do you guys think of tonight? Was the music good? Was there anything that I could have done better? You know, I'm always up for that. If you're watching this afterwards and you see something I could have done better, leave a comment down below. Believe it or not, I'm going to say this because, you know, I know someone in here will want to be the first. Not a single one of these videos has had a comment put on them yet. So Thank you all for showing up. You don't know how much this means to me, being a new streamer, seeing an audience following and everything. It is a huge, like, huge honor to have you all here watching me and enjoying the content that I'm bringing you. But until then, I will see you next week, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Keep an eye out for the videos. You know, like, comment, subscribe. Well, if you're talking here, you're already subscribed. But if you see these afterwards, please subscribe. And you all have a wonderful evening.